All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the November meeting of the Columbus Astronomical Society. This is the meeting before our annual election, and if anybody is interested in nominating themselves for any of the particular jobs, where nominations are still open till the end of the meeting. We do need a treasurer if anybody wants to dive into the world of high finance, you know. So nominations are open for that.
And our current treasurer has offered to basically show you the ropes.
Right.
I mean, if I may real quick, for anybody who is interested in running for treasurer, I'm turned out. It is maybe about 2.5 hours worth of serious commitment a month. We have a post office box near downtown Columbus, so you check that periodically. We don't usually get too many bills in that. We get our annual insurance bill. We get periodically notifications from like the Secretary of State's office or State Auditor's office just wanting to get their annual reports in. So usually, by May 16th, we have to turn in our simple 990, which takes 5 minutes to do if you've done your record keeping right. And you have to submit to the State Auditor's website, just update the profile and, you know, the whole we're not embezzling money kind of thing. And then every month we put together a updated treasurer's report, what's going on in our accounts and our PayPal account. That way it can get put out to the Prime Focus newsletter for everybody to review. We also maintain the membership database. That was so we just have an Excel sheet that has everybody's information for who are club members, what their due status is, that sort of thing. So if anybody's interested in running for the treasurer position, once that individual voted next month, I believe it's time, probably in mid-January, we'll take that community to kind of help do a little bit of training in terms of what that position entails, how all the paperwork's done, and it's really not as bad as it sounds.
Okay.
One quick moment, since I'm recording the meeting, the battery in this died. So give me 30 seconds to replace the battery here.
So
I have a set of batteries.
right.
So Alex, if you'll say all that again.
The officers' meetings, we have been meeting here at 6:30, so just prior to the, so it's not, you know, basically you just have to come a little bit earlier, and that's it.
Okay. And also the current nominees are listed in the Prime Focus newsletter this month if you haven't read it yet. Let's see, what else have we got going here? Okay.
We have guests.
Guests, yes.
We have some guests this evening that I'd like to introduce. There's Pepper, wave, there she is, and Alex behind. And then Balin, where's Balin? There's Balin, all in the same neighborhood. Then we had Max and Mia. They were here.
My niece and nephew go to the library.
Okay, all right. Welcome to our guests.
Yeah. Oh, and we have a couple of
Couple of outreach events that are, one is for 2 weeks from today. If you happen to be available on a Saturday evening, November 22nd, the Battelle Darby Creek Metro Park would like some of our members to show them the night skies from 6 to 8 p.m. If that is a possibility for you, please put your name on there and email address and phone number if you would. And then the second one is not until next year. It's actually not until Tuesday, February 17th, 2026, at the Columbus Girls School. It's near Bexley, but it's actually in Columbus. But it's the girls' school, and they want to do an astronomy night for their students and parents. If you are possibly available for that, sign up on this one. And then you kind of pass it around if you would.
okay. So next we'll hear from Don, our host.
Thanks. Hi, I'm Don Stevens. I'm the director here, your host. First off, we still have a few more public programs on Friday nights. They start at 8 p.m. and always looking for volunteers to come help with telescopes, show folks stuff through the telescopes. It's usually a fun time, and folks really appreciate it, having those telescopes out there, show them a lot of different things in the sky. So you don't need to be an expert. You know, we've got also a couple telescopes in there if you don't have your own. Just come out and give us a hand on those programs. I usually post on the club email list when I need volunteers. Usually if it's going to be a definitively cloudy night, I won't post or anything. So, but do please come and help with those programs. From mid-December through January, we will take a hiatus from the programs. So in fact, usually the club holiday party is our last official event for the year. And then, like I said, we'll resume those in February. I'll try to get our schedule of 2026 up on the website here before the end of the year. And so that way folks can be aware of what the Friday nights are in 2026. The next announcement's a little unpleasant, but I want everyone to bear in mind, you know, currently we're still down to one restroom. All right, the single occupancy restroom over here. Please bear that in mind when you're using that bathroom. I did have to go in there and clean it up a little bit. So try to be gentle and practice some good hygiene and things like that when you're using that bathroom, because there are other folks that are going to be using it after you. So please keep that in mind. All right.
Okay, and a reminder, next month is our annual Christmas potluck, dinner, and usually starts a little earlier. But, so bring your favorite, 6 o'clock. So bring your favorite dish. We'll be providing several entrees and drinks and stuff, and or if your favorite dessert, whatever you want to bring. But, that not going to be much business, just a quick election and then food, which is the important part. So.
Will there be Jeopardy?
Yeah, we're working on that. We're planning on having Astro Jeopardy to test your astronomical knowledge or just to entertain you. We got CASIS meeting next week.
Yes.
Yeah, and then it's on vacation until March.
Correct.
Yeah. So you're going to have to study on your own. You got any announcements?
Yeah, just 2 short ones.
Okay.
Howdy, gang. The John Glenn Astronomy Park programs end on November 22nd for the season. We take a hiatus also because of generally cloudy weather from late November until March. Typically, if we did programs during that time period, we would probably cancel 3/4 of them because of the clouds. Also, our plaza is notoriously snowy and slippery in the wintertime. However, given that, you guys are diehards, so the club is arranging a CAS observing night at the John Glenn Astronomy Park on Saturday, January 17th, which is the new moon day. If we get clear skies during that weekend, which it's about a 1 in 3 chance of us getting clear skies, the winter skies will be uncommonly clear and bright, and you will get a chance to see some things that you don't ordinarily get to see because we're usually out during the summer looking at the summer Milky Way. We'll be looking at the winter Milky Way and enjoying things from there. I have arrangements made to generally plow in case there's deep and heavy snow, because people in the park actually use the astronomy park fairly regularly. So we keep the road relatively clear. There is a possibility that the plaza itself might have a little snow in it. We typically can't plow that because it would damage the plaza. I will let people know in advance what the conditions are on that weekend. So, yes.
I was just going to ask, if it is snowy on the plaza, are we allowed to bring a shovel to clear out some spots, or do you prefer if we do not?
As long as it was a shovel that was used gently, I don't think that'd be a problem. We've done that before. We just can't use a big, truck plow. So as to, yeah, if you brought a plow, it'd be nice if it were a plastic one, so it didn't scrape on the bricks. But yeah, I wouldn't be averse to that. So it also tends to the heat of the day tends to melt the snow on that area pretty well. I mean, it tends to go away more quickly on the plaza than it does in the field. So also, I have the all-new 2026 astronomical calendar for the John Glenn Astronomy Park, chock full of astronomical information. I've got the phases of the moon, different planetary events, the Carl Sagan-inspired cosmic calendar, anniversaries, birthdays, interesting space events, what comets are expected to be in the sky at given times that we know of, and pictures that were taken by the astrophotographers at the John Glenn Astronomy Park, one of whom is in this room. Jason, where are you? Okay. Oh, he left. Okay, Jason had to, one of whom is not in this room. Jason actually took a couple of the pictures in here as well. If you guys go down and do astrophotography at the John Glenn Astronomy Park, send me your raw files or your finished product looking beautiful, and maybe I might put it in the Astronomy Park calendar. This is the region of Cygnus X1 in Cygnus, and if you look at that little tiny blue blob, that is the shock wave from the accretion disk jet of the black hole Cygnus X1, which I thought was really cool, which is why I put it on the cover this year. So these are $20. I can take Venmo or little green pieces of paper, whichever you prefer. Checks are generally kind of a pain in the butt, but if you really want to give me a check, I think that'd be okay. So I've got a bunch of them, so if you want to hit me up later on, feel free, and I'll tell you my Venmo number. So that's it. That's all I got.
Okay.
So I guess we're ready for our presentation.
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Isaac Cruz. I'm the person that you probably have seen me every time that I'm here talking about CASIS, because that's basically my passion, is to actually image the skies and so forth. So tonight, it will be an interesting, hopefully it will be an interesting presentation for you all, because I'm here to actually kind of put a bug in your ear about an event that is going to happen in about 30 months, okay? And the clue of where it's going to be is, is actually kind of in there. So hopefully, let me see, we'll actually be able to, you'll be able to see it a little bit better this way. All right, so there you go. That's the extent of my animations at this point. So we'll talk about the event, right? I mean, obviously, we're talking about a total solar eclipse. So we'll talk about a little bit about the event. And then, basically, if you really, really kind of feel like it, can start thinking about what you want to do in regards to experiencing, that event. And then I'll give you basically a little bit of context, basically or mainly, Australia is a big place. So we'll talk about a little bit about, where and how you actually can do this. And then I'll give you kind of the story, kind of logistics, the things that you have to think about before going, basically 10,000 miles away from here to actually, watch a total solar eclipse. And if you're going to be imaging, which if this is the first time that you are going to be imaging a total solar eclipse, I do not recommend it. Okay, if this is the first time, what you want to do is actually experience it, and I'll say that many times as we go along. And then we'll talk a little bit about an organization that exists in Australia, which I actually have contacts over there, and really nice people, and they have programs that they actually do every year that are geared toward people from the Northern Hemisphere to actually travel to Australia and enjoy the dark skies, right? So, as we said, right, I mean, the next total solar eclipse over Australia will be July 22nd of 2028, right? So, I know 2028, people say, oh, that's a long time, to come. Well, and I will say that's 30 months away, and if you think about it, right? I mean, this is something that it will be very popular, and if you want to plan to actually go over there and so forth, you can argue that this is the right time to start thinking about it. Okay, and if you're thinking seriously about it, we'll talk a little bit more about the things that you need to start doing at this point, right? So. This is basically what is going to happen, right? I mean, the total solar eclipse on the 22nd of July, you can actually see actually just going over there, going all across the Australian continent, and you cannot see it over there, but it actually does go over the South Island of New Zealand. So it's kind of an interesting and very, very long time under the shadow. One of the neat things that happens is that the maximum is going to be basically when it actually touches the mainland Australia. The maximum duration is about 5 minutes. So 5 minutes under the shadow of the moon. So it's actually, pretty cool. It's actually it's the second one of the second total solar eclipse in the series of 5 that are happening in Australia. The first one actually occurred a couple of years ago, and other ones will be occurring through the year 2040. I think is when this series will actually will end. The path of totality, right? It is actually quite neat. It's pretty much what happened for us here in the great American, USA total solar eclipse. It actually starts. It starts on the mainland. It actually starts on the northwestern part of the continent in Western Australia, and then it just basically keeps on going all the way to, and look at that. I mean, the center, Sydney, which is a huge city, right? Very well known, is right in the middle. So, in fact, the path is not shown. Well, it's shown in here. You see those two little dots? There's a dot in there, and a little dot over there. So. The path of totality starts in the Indian Ocean, right? So it crosses the Australian territories of Cocos and Keeling Island, and then which is the first ones back here, and then this is right here. This is Christmas Island. And so if you want to just kind of be all by yourself and everything else, these are tiny places. So, but if you want to be all by yourself, it actually does. I mean, and those are Australian territories. And it finally makes contact near the Kimberley area, which is midway between Darwin and Bruden, I think is the name of the town, which is like down here somewhere. And then it continues across the Northern Territories, this is NT, right? I mean, so we have Northern Territories right here, go on the western part of Queensland, and then finally New South Wales down in the, and it ends up going past Sydney, and as you can see this is North Island right here, so it goes through the South Island in New Zealand. So pretty neat. And something that is really quite exciting. Okay. All right. So the question is, right? I mean, would you like to actually go over there and actually check it out, right? So the goal, right? I mean, if you decide to actually, go ahead and do it, is to experience the total solar eclipse. And again, that's really the important part, right? I mean, if you are going to actually travel, 10,000 miles to actually do this, please experience it, right? I mean, just kind of go ahead and do it. It is kind of a neat, based on the experiences that some of us here have had on previous total solar eclipse. It is a heck of an experience. And truly, the only thing that I would actually recommend, just bring a pair of binoculars, on yourself and your, Mark I eyeball, and just kind of check it out and enjoy it. The path of totality, as I said, it actually ends up in Sydney, and if you're going to watch it in Sydney, it's not going to be 5 minutes. 5 minutes is in Kimberley. By the time it actually gets down to Sydney, it's 4 minutes. Still, I mean, that's a long time for a total solar eclipse. What I would recommend is that, again, this will take 4 minutes, right? I mean, so you travel, actually do it and everything else, and 4 minutes, you're done, right? But you're there. So what I would recommend is that you actually go ahead and take advantage that you are there and discover Australia, and if you can, discover New Zealand. New Zealand is literally just a flight away. It's about 3.5 hours away flight, and it's beautiful place as well. And we'll talk a little bit more, about that. And maybe if you have time, go ahead and image, some of the some of the sun and sky stuff, right? I mean, basically stuff that you cannot see from here. This. Let me kind of do this for a second here. Press the wrong button. So there we go. Anybody knows what this is? Large Magellanic Cloud and the Small Magellanic Cloud. So there you go. Proof of attendance. that's what that is. Okay. So that is kind of a neat thing to do, and I would definitely encourage you to actually enjoy and not only discover what this the country has to offer, but also try to image that I would recommend. Okay, is to image some of that. So let me give you some context, right? First of all, Australia is big, okay? It's large. It's as large as the United States, okay? So, and again, interesting fact, right? I mean, there's Broome right there. So, the path of the totality actually goes through here. It's north of Alice Springs, so you can't see it from Uluru, but it ends up down here in Sydney. So that's kind of more or less akin to the same path that we actually had the total solar eclipse that we had in 2017, remember? It's basically kind of if you look at it, more or less the same path. And interestingly enough, just like we had a little town in, I don't remember the name of the town.
Grand Island in Nebraska.
In Nebraska, right? That we, both path of totality actually. When it crossed?
Oh, the one that crossed?
The one that crossed.
The one that we saw from was Grand Island.
Okay, I was thinking that the same thing happens here, right? I mean, the other one actually it actually goes this way. It actually crosses Australia from the southwestern part to the northeastern part, and there's a tiny little town, right? I mean, right in the middle of the boonies that actually has the same privilege of actually be able to see it twice in a matter of a few years, like 2 or 3 years and so forth. So Australia has, I mean, it's as large as it's as big as the United States, right? But it basically has 27 million people. I mean, that's 10% of, less than 10% of what population of the United States is. And 87% of those 27 million live in large cities. And large cities are obviously Sydney, and Brisbane, Melbourne, Adelaide, and then that's about it. Canberra is the capital, but all the other ones are kind of like small in comparison. So it's kind of interestingly that, again, the concentration of the population is mostly just like East Coast, right? I mean, basically in there and a little bit on the south. By contrast, right? I mean, New Zealand has 5 million people, much smaller place, right? I mean, and the same thing, though. It's much smaller place, but 85% of the population actually lives in major cities in New Zealand. Again, it's a much smaller place, and again, if you have the opportunity to actually go to New Zealand, do it, because it is a fantastic place. I'll tell you what, everything in Australia is trying to kill you. That's basically, it's true. I mean, there's more poisonous, you call it, snakes, spiders, insects. Everything in Australia is basically out there to kill you. It's just, they tell you that when you actually get over there. In New Zealand, there's not an animal that is poisonous, that isn't being, like smuggled in, if you will. But big difference, between two countries that are very, very, very close to each other. So, Australia is far away. Okay. This is 17 hours. This is one 17-hour flight from Dulles, Texas, all the way down to Sydney. And if you are going to actually try to watch the total solar eclipse all the way to Kimberley, so you would have to either basically, once you get to Sydney, you have to fly out to Darwin, which is about a 5.5 hour flight, and then you have to drive for about 8 more hours to actually get to Kimberley, and then you get to watch it at 5 minutes. That'll actually basically, just get you 1 more minute under the shadow. So you end up actually close to 20-some hours of flight, of travel, more than a straight day, right? I mean, to actually, make it over there. As it happened, it was a very comfortable flight. So, I mean, it was very nice. We actually went on that Airbus 300, the largest aircraft that exists and goes up and down. And it was actually surprisingly, there was no there's not a lot of turbulence. The only turbulence is actually when you go from the northern hemisphere to the southern hemisphere, this area right here, there was a little bit of chop, and then everything else was okay. And I think I actually walked. It's a two-deck type of aircraft, so you basically can walk down, go up the stairs, go all the way through, and so forth. So I think I actually walked like a mile in 17 hours by the time I actually made it to Sydney. It's kind of a neat experience. It's tough though. I mean, obviously you don't want to be sitting down all the time. I'm not a doctor, but they recommend that you actually use this anti-thrombosis type of socks, and that will that'll help you with the deep vein thrombosis, so you don't get bad stuff happening to you on the trip. And in fact, that was the reason why I actually walked so much, because I was kind of concerned and so forth. But it was a nice flight. It was actually very nice. This is, by the way, this is what we did. By the way, our trip included all these stops, if you will. Australia. Every one of these places we actually flew. Again, it's as large as the United States, so you can't really drive nearly anywhere. If you want to go and see if you want to see it and experience the continent, right? I mean, you want to see the highlights. This was 13 flights to actually see all this stuff right here. So it was okay, and then. New Zealand, this is South Island. We started in the south and then went all the way to Hobart, which is all the way on the top. And that was buses. So not you fly in down to South Island, and then you take buses, and then you kind of experience the whole island, both islands, very, very well and very, very comfortably without too much trouble. This may sound excessive, but we were there 8 weeks. So we were there for 2 months to actually do all this stuff. And you don't need that, right? I mean, again, you may just make this as easily as just you fly all the way to Sydney, enjoy the solar eclipse, and you come back home. That's fine. I mean, you can do that. But just by basically just visiting this area right here, which is New South Wales, go to Victoria, and check out Tasmania, get to see the Tasmanian devil. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then just fly over to New Zealand, and this can be done literally in a week, no problem whatsoever. And then. What a lot of people actually do is they get to Hobart, and then they fly out, and you stop in Fiji, and then you made it to the United States in there, and that is a very nice trip, and you get to experience some both countries, really very nice experience. What do you need to actually do this kind of stuff? Well, I'll share some of the logistics that were associated with with our trip. When we actually were there. So our trip was planned to be like I said, 8 weeks. We did 7 weeks of touring Australia and New Zealand, and then we did a 1 week for the OzSky Star Safari, and that was for the basically a star party that is put together by these folks that I'm going to be talking about. And then because we were there in April, so the seasons are all reversed, right? So April is fall, so it's kind of like everything is reversed. We started our trip by actually we flew to Sydney, but then we had one more trip to CAINS, which is on the northern part of Australia, And that's basically their Florida. That's where, basically you go and people go and enjoy the ocean and beaches and everything else year round. So it's kind of a neat thing. So we went from 80 degrees Fahrenheit when we started, and in 2 months when we actually ended up, and again this is fall, when we actually experienced snow when we were in New Zealand. So we ended up with layering, right? I mean, it's like, hey, one more T-shirt, one more shirt, one more coat, and everything else to be able to spend the time over there comfortably all together. And then, being an astrophotographer, I actually brought too much, but basically, this is like a Canon, DSLR. I didn't need all of these. That's a lesson learned. I only needed basically just one zoom lens, that 70 to 200, or there's a 100 to 400 now that you can actually use, and none of the other lenses are actually required. And then a very light tripod, that's a Gizmo tripod, an AstroTrack, which is basically something that will allow me to track objects at sidereal rate, and then 3-axis head, and then a computer, which as it happened I didn't need, because all the images were actually recorded on the memory of the Canon. So, there's stuff in there that I didn't have to take, but that was kind of part of the stuff that, I wanted to make sure that I had enough optics for me to be able to actually be able to take images, right? So, this is old stuff, right? I mean, the thinking behind what am I going to be able to do with the equipment that I have. You talk about the rule of 600, which actually gives you 600 divided by the focal length, gives you the exposure time in seconds that will yield acceptable star trails. So that way you don't, if you don't have the only thing you have is a tripod, you can use that rule. And then, and again, this is the available focal length that I actually had with me, and I estimated that I had between 40 seconds and 1.5 seconds to take all the images that I was going to be taking. So, the OzSky Star Safari, this is a group pretty much like us, actually. It's maybe a little bit smaller than our total membership, but it's about this large group. And they basically they promote southern skies to folks that live in the northern hemisphere. And they're extremely excited to actually get people interested on going out and experiencing the southern skies. It's not only for people to take images. The important thing that they want to do is for people to come over and experience the southern skies. And to that effect, they have two star parties that they make, or star safaris, as they call it. They have one in March, which is a Cuna, they call it Cuna Barbara. And it's either March or April, around that time. When I went, it was in April. Okay, and the thing is that it's very, very limited the amount of people that actually get to go there. Typically, they host 36 people. That's what they host for one of these every year, and then they have one in November, right? So this is basically getting into the summer time and so forth. So this is like the other side of the sky, right? And so in November, they have a place called Southern Tablelands. The Coonabarabra is actually, if you look at Sydney, is northwest of Sydney. Southern Tablelands is southwest of Sydney. And the typical group, if you will, that actually does the November is 16 people. So not that many people, right? I mean, it's just very small groups. Okay? But again, I mean, they're really open to help you if you're interested on actually going. So one of the folks that actually I met over there, his name is Lachlan MacDonald. Okay. Lachlan MacDonald, interestingly enough, he's been here. He actually came over to a CAS meeting about 12 years ago, if not more. He actually brought a friend. I don't know, you were here when
I remember that. He was excited to see the big thing.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And so Lachlan has been here. He knows about the Columbus Astronomical Society. He enjoyed the trip, and he's been back with his family, his wife, and everything else. And so I've been talking to him. And I kind of like jokingly, right? I mean, I said, well, I mean, the next total solar eclipse is on 28. I mean, you guys are thinking about it? He says, yeah, we're more than thinking about it. We're actually making a early bird list. And then he says, are you coming? And he added me to the list without me saying yes or no. So I'm on a list. That doesn't mean I'm going to go, okay? But the thing is that I told him that I was going to be making this presentation, and if you're interested, I mean, if out of here, right? I mean, when you leave, you basically, hey, I definitely that's a possibility that I may go. He's saying, listen, anybody that wants to come over, I'll add him to the list. This is his email. And I can provide that, other than just a slide, or just go to the website. If you look for OzSky.org, that's only OzSky.org. You'll be able to actually send them, communicate with Lachlan as well. And he's really, really, really friendly guy. He's kind of a neat. Well, I'll show him. So that's Lachlan right here. It's kind of a neat thing. As you all know, right? I mean, this was for a star party. So what's the first thing that happens on a star party or things that are associated with astronomy? You got to eat, right? That's the whole thing. You got to eat, right? So when we went over there, the first thing in Sydney, because we all meet in Sydney, we just had a big banquet, and we just kind of meet each other and actually have a great time and so on and so forth. And from there, the next day, you actually go ahead and try to get, not try, but the intent is to actually get to Coonabarabra. The site itself is 300 miles northwest from Sydney. So there's Sydney right here, and that's where Coona is actually is. And yes, that's 300 miles. So again, this is kind of like, significant, things. The good thing is that unlike us here in the States, they actually have a great train system. So as it turned out, it's actually 6.5 hours from Sydney to this little town in here. It's called Dubbo. It's right here. Interesting fact: Dubbo, the center line actually goes through Dubbo. So you can literally, I mean, if you're saying, well, Sydney is cloudy or overcast or whatever, you can, right? I mean, with as you all know, right? I mean, with proper kind of planning, you can get in a train and actually have a second bite at the apple, if you will, by traveling 6.5 hours and end up in here, and the center line actually goes through here. So that's interesting, right? As it happens, I still have to actually drive like 2 more hours all the way out to the actual hotel where that they reserve for all the astronomers to spend the week over there in. Can actually see it right here. This basically is the place where we have the observing site. Notice, right? It's at minus 31 degrees, right? So this is New Mexico. I mean, it's in the southern hemisphere, but it's basically New Mexico latitude, right? So, it's really very, very comfortable weather. One thing that is something that is interesting for the total solar eclipse. If you want to see it all the way north, right, which is down up in Kimberly, the average temperature in July, which is the middle of winter, is about 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's actually quite comfortable. Sydney is in the mid-50s. It goes to 40s or whatever once in a while, but it's only like 10 degrees. So it's pretty much like this afternoon here in the middle of winter in Sydney. So not bad. Okay. I'll have to say though, winters in Sydney it's usually it's overcast. So kind of think about that. The good thing about this is that, questions that you may actually have in regards to, as the time gets closer, about weather and so on and so forth, the OzSky, organization is there to help us out, right? I mean, if you want to go, with that group, if you want to do it by yourself, of course, you can you by yourself, but the important part is that we have someone over there that is there to help us out if you're going to go. Okay.
Weather-wise, where's the best place?
I think that is actually the furthest inland that you get, the better it is. The better it is. So this is 300 miles, like I said, northwest of Sydney, and we had one cloudy night, and there was a storm that was off the eastern part of Sydney at the time, and it only, it's really, really dry, so that actually worked out real well. Again, that was April, but in the winter things change just like they do here, and this same thing. So the furthest west that you go, the furthest inland that you go, the better it is, the best it is. So this is, and again, this is not only for imaging. I mean, they actually provide a ton of opportunities to actually do visual observing. This is what the OzSky organization actually put together, right? I mean, so this is provided for everyone that attends the Star Party. That's kind of neat thing over there. They have 30-inch, 25, 218s. They have a binocular telescope, a 12-inch binocular telescope. It's kind of a neat thing to actually be able to to do that. And if you want the image, of course, they just leave you alone, right? It's like, just go out there and just have some fun. And during the day, you get to see kangaroos. Every morning. I mean, it was like, it's just like here, right? I mean, it's like all these kangaroos, and you get out of your little room, and that's what greets you every morning. It's kind of a neat thing. That's my attempt of actually taking a picture of the local, fauna, if you will. This is Mari. That's proof of attendance in there. She went with me. She had a good time. It was actually pretty good. Warrnambool is where we actually stay. But where the OzSky Star Party is actually relatively close to this. The Anglo-Australian telescope in Siding Spring is about 3 hours away, you know, and they rent a bus, and you go out and you basically go over there, and you can see some of these astronomical related, you know, places. If you have ever thought about taking remote southern sky imaging, right? This is the itelescope.net in Siding Springs. Again, this is only like a couple of hours away. And it's kind of a neat place. You can actually see the telescopes that you would be using to actually take southern sky images. We went to the Australia Telescope National Facility, where they have 6 22-meter dishes altogether. So this is all radio telescopes, so forth. Pretty neat, you know, again. And then, you know, you get to experience the southern skies. So that's really what is kind of unique about this, right? Astronomically related, but not during the astronomical, not during the OzSky Star Party, is one of the neat things. We had the opportunity to go to Uluru, and that's another springs. It's not in my notes. Okay, and basically, what you see here is this is a map that resembles the Milky Way, the southern Milky Way. You can't see it very well in there, but if you turn it around, basically you will see that this is this right here. You know, this is kind of down here. This is all this part right here. So you can actually, and that was, you know, the Aboriginals, right? I mean, they actually painted that in the caves over there by in Uluru, Ayers Rock. I was looking for the name in Ayers Rock. Kind of a neat thing, right? I mean, we keep on looking for things that are astronomically related, even though we're, you know, hundreds or thousands of miles away from there. So the opportunities are there, and this is something that I definitely, if you go, kind of enjoy the skies, right? I mean, you let me see, Large Magellanic Cloud, the Southern Cross, right? You can see this from Puerto Rico. Huh? I'll be there December 11th. So you can see the Southern Cross, and this is the jewel box, you know, Kappa Crucis right here. You can actually see it over there. So it was kind of neat to be able to see that. Things that you don't see from Puerto Rico is like Eta Carina, right? I mean, this is too far south to actually even see it, you know, from down there. And you can see the little homunculus right here. That's kind of a neat thing. And if you look at the technical description of it, right? Look at the ISO, right? They're very, very short images at 280. So it's still kind of like possible to take some images with, again, one long lens, you know, one long zoom lens to actually do it. More, you know, this is a tarantula, right? I mean, this is part of the Large Magellanic Cloud. Yeah, right. I mean, I had to do some, you know, star trails, right? It's not in the northern hemisphere because there's no Polaris there. And you know, kind of take like, what was it, 20-second images for a little while. You can actually see the the movement of the Earth, as they say.
Hey, Isaac,
Yeah.
how do you align a scope down there? You don't have a North Pole.
That's a good question. I did. I just don't remember how. Too long ago. But
Did you triangulate on 3 stars?
They've got several stars that you can use
as markers, yeah. But I mean, I was using the Astro Track, so I didn't have kind of very much. Actually, that's not true. The Astro Track has a little telescope that you can use. So yeah, I guess that's what I used to actually do that. I know I had that same question, but it wasn't a big deal. It was not a big deal. I was able to actually do the alignment without too much trouble, right? For my trip, right? I mean, it was total, like it says there, 31,000 miles of travel. 8 weeks of actually having fun, everywhere and so forth. Excess of 160 gigabytes of data on images, all throughout. And again, the message for you all is that if, start thinking about it, right? I mean, it's 30 months from now, right? I mean, that this will happen. If you have a hankering to go, this is a trip of a lifetime for many of us, right? I mean, and again, I don't know if I'll go or not. It is a little bit strenuous. I mean, 17 hours in an airplane is no joke. I mean, when we came back, it was the same thing. We went from Sydney to Dallas, to Dallas. And what happened was that as soon as Mari arrived on the airport, she says, "I'm done. Just give me a wheelchair and just wheel me everywhere you want to, but I'm not walking anymore." But hey, I mean, it happens, right? I mean, we're getting to the age that we need to make sure that we understand what our limitations are. And, if you're, young and vigorous and everything else, this is no big deal. But, if you start, getting into, the 6s and 7s and the 8s, you got to start thinking about it, about how strenuous this thing is. I still want to, I recommend it. I mean, this was fantastic as far as a trip and experience is concerned. So that's the presentation. Any questions? Yeah.
So because flights are going to be getting more expensive closer to the eclipse,
Yes.
if someone was going to go just for the southern Milky Way, any categories like that?
If the only thing you want to do is actually just go and experience the southern skies, you can actually go like in April or May and enjoy it, in there. And that's a good time to actually see the southern skies, mainly because both the Large Magellanic Cloud and the Small Magellanic Cloud are high in the sky. And, so it's actually kind of a neat experience to actually see it during that time. Other questions? Yes?
Given the length of the flight, did you consider going like to Hawaii or Fiji first and spending a day and then breaking it up in two?
You can go to Fiji. It's nearly as bad.
Even Hawaii, we cut out some.
Hawaii is further north. It's actually quite north. Yeah. I mean, cutting it.
I know Ron Davenport back when one of his trips they did hop
Yeah.
islands, so they went to Fiji and I think even some.
Yeah. And coming back, a lot of people did that. We actually didn't. We just basically went from Sydney all the way back. We came back to the States. A lot of people actually stopped in Fiji and then stayed there for a couple of days, or 2 or 3 days, and then came back to the States. So just because it's Fiji, but it's an island, so I mean, it's whatever.
About jet lag.
And jet lag. That's true. Yes, sir.
That's serious.
Yeah.
I mean, was it completely disorienting, looking at the sky down there?
The first night that you actually see everything upside down is very, very disconcerting. Absolutely, it's very true. I mean, I mean, even Cygnus, right? I mean, something that we just look up and we know exactly what it looks like and everything else. If you look at that and it's really turned around, it's really disconcerting. I mean, your brain kind of goes. I mean, in fact, that's how you see the people from the northern hemisphere. You see everyone doing this. Everyone. It's like, oh yeah, they're singing. But it's the whole night you actually see the people doing that.
For example, how about looking at where the sun in the north and the moon in the north?
It's yeah. So it is kind of disconcerting when you actually do that. But I'm glad that you actually mentioned that, because that was basically how you recognize everybody that came from the northern hemisphere. Just everybody doing the contortions. It's kind of neat.
That and the drive on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah, that was kind of harrowing, because if you can imagine, we arrived from New Zealand to Sydney. We spent a night in Sydney, and then we spent 2 nights. We actually spent 1 night in Sydney. The next day was the eating thing, right? I mean, we had the meal, the banquet, and then the next day you basically pick up all your luggage. You grab the train, 6.5 hours, and then you drive. And it's on the wrong side of the road, and I was really, really tired. I mean, I had been out, this was my 8th week, right? So I've been out there running around and, flying and everything else. So this is my 8th week. I was supposed to rest that week. And well, but yeah, that was disconcerting in regards, I know that I actually got confused once. I ended up in the right lane and people screaming and hollering, but no accidents, just idiot type deal, But you're right about the driving on the wrong side. Yeah, that's very true. Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you very much. And all right. Anybody thinking about going?
Yeah, I said, what is the, obviously there's some